Hey guys, Scott back again with a new beer dissection video for you. Going back to one of my other local breweries here from Westhampton Beach Brewing Company. I'll get right to it. It's called Broken Board Session IPA. I'm showing you the crowler. Okay, I can't get out as much these days, so I took a drive. My wife and kids walked into the brewery. I gave her a list of 3 beers I know I've never had before that are on tap, and Broken Board was one of them. So I have 2 others that I may or may not produce videos for. One is from Riptide IPA, and there's a raspberry stout, which I'm going to probably do a video on. They're over in Westhampton. I want to say 10 miles from me. The only other one closer, Rich's Field down the road. I've done a bunch of videos with them recently. My early days of starting my channel, I know I'd done a handful of Westhampton Beach Brewing Company beers. So it's been a little while that I've done a video about them. So this one's been on tap there. They have a lot of beers in cans, like Hurricane IPA, Jetty 4. I remember doing a cranberry one. That was a seasonal release. That was last fall. So this one, like I said, is called Broken Board. And they're, again, 10 miles down the road in Westhampton Beach. Most of their beers and the brewery in general has a ocean theme, beach theme, hence Broken Board and Jetty 4 and Hurricane IPA. So that's their little claim to fame as far as naming their beers. So remember, this is a crowler. It's about 32 ounces. Okay. They don't can all their beers, so you're not going to necessarily find this. If you live locally, I would go over there and just check them out. But Rich's Field doesn't can, but you can get crowlers very easily, and they're only about a half a mile away. So you've seen me use these crowlers before versus growlers. Growlers are, remember, you typically in a glass jug, even though there are other more high-end growlers. But I think they both are roughly, the crowler is 32 ounces, but the growler is 32 ounces, maybe a little bit more. It could even be like 64 ounces. They come in different sizes and things, so I don't know what they're using, but I won't go down that wormhole too much. Like I said, this is going to be like a sessionable IPA, 4.7% alcohol, and that's pretty much it. But you can kind of get a look. I'm sure I'm going to have pictures popping over. That's their label. And again, those of you that live on Long Island with me, you find a lot of their other beers very readily available in the store. And under my What Is Styles no, I don't think I used to do a What Is Style with them, but under Beer Dissection, I have a bunch of their other beers that I've reviewed. Hurricane IPA, I know off the top of my head. I think Jetty 4 I did, and things like that. And they're down the road. They got a big brew room. And that's it. The Riptide IPA is fantastic. That actually helped, I believe, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation 1 year with the Riptide lacrosse. I don't know if that's an ongoing thing, but again, I digress. So anyway, Westhampton Beach Crowler from Broken Board, sessionable IPA at 4.7. Okay, now, put it in perspective, Budweiser's about 4.3. Okay, and we consider those beers definitely sessionable, so there's just above that. All right, so let's crack this bad boy open, just using my typical kind of tulip glass here, and let's see what we got. Okay. All right, so let me move that over there. Okay, I'm still pouring aggressively. I only got these about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago from when I'm filming this. I'm filming this in the beginning of August of 23. So these came right off the tap, literally about an hour and a half ago. Sent my 19-year-old and 14-year-old in with my wife, and they picked these up. Okay, but what happens is I think got stirred up in the car a little bit too, besides my pour. So let's take a look at the head. Extremely nice looking, white to maybe like a light tan head. Pretty tight, compact bubbles. I'm getting that nice little meringue-like look to the top of the beer that I like seeing, with the proteins that, I don't know the grist of the beer, but, sorry, quick pause there. I don't know the grist of the beer, but if they use, the protein content, sometimes they use a little wheat in these IPAs. I don't know. Brian Skip, one of the co-owners, lives in my town here. I'm sure if I asked him, he would give me the general recipe. Not that I'll be opening up a brewery anytime soon, but the color, a nice, medium amber to maybe even a light copper color. Pretty clear. I mean, there's not really even much chill haze in there. I can kind of see myself through the other side. So, looking nice so far. So let's take a sniff of the aroma. Oh yeah, there's a little citrus, grapefruit. Let me mention the malt on the nose right now because I'm getting that like biscuit top, cracker, like Ritz cracker type of malt. I'm also getting a little pine, I think. I don't know what hops they're using. Maybe they're using some Pacific Northwest hops, why I'm perceiving a pine. It's very possible I'm completely missing it, but there's citrus, like a slight grapefruit, almost like they're using Cascade or something like that, or Centennial hops, but I don't know. Slight bubblegum. Some of the hop varietals, I'll get that too. Sometimes I don't know if I'm getting that with some of the floral hops and the perceived sweetness from the nose. So yeah, I don't know the hops that they're using, but there's very nice, very pleasant little citrus. I even get like almost like cantaloupe, like a melon, or even maybe even a slight stone fruit character to it also. But I am getting some pine. Regardless of my adjectives or my take and perception of this, it smells very good. To me, it's actually looking a little bit more like a West Coast IPA, especially if I'm getting that citrus, that pine. And I see in the color here, this is not, I don't believe, a New England hazy IPA, and you don't see any haze there. So it's looking more like a West Coast IPA, maybe an American IPA sessionable one. But anyway, guys, this almost smells like, I just did a review on Raging Bitch. It was, God, I forget the name of the brewery. Those of you guys can chime in underneath. It almost has that aroma to it. A very famous IPA. Flying Dog, I think it was. Very nice. A little dank. Grapefruit, but not over the top. Pine. Kind of biscuit brioche kind of aromas on the malt. Very nice, guys. Let's take a swig of this. Cheers. Oh. I definitely think there's some pine in there. I get some pine on the palate. Citrus, medium carbonation, which is actually quite nice. It's kind of like drinking like a English cask ale. Kind of low to moderate bitterness at the very most. It is a crowler. It did come off the tapping system, so we could have lost some of the carbonation over the last hour and a half. No alcoholic warmth, which you wouldn't expect at 4.7%. Pretty smooth. The malt is still pretty consistent with the aroma. Kind of like bread crust, maybe light challah bread. Not too much Maillard reaction there. What else? Like maybe even like I said, biscuit top, things like that. We get this Pillsbury biscuits off the top, brown them a little bit, and kind of getting. So there is definitely some malt backbone here, which is great, which I love in my IPAs. It is drinking like a West Coast IPA. Like I said, I didn't even know. Like sometimes I don't get out as much. We said we were going to get out. My wife got a new car. We're like, oh, let's take a trip. I said, let's go to Westhampton Beach Brewing Company. I haven't literally been inside and get some crowlers. So she went over there. I just looked at what was on tap online real quick. And I said, I have never had these three. Well, actually, I had the Riptide in a can, but not off the tapping system. This one I definitely didn't have before. And they don't can it, so I can't get it in my local beer shop. Very nice guys, though. Again, very mellow. This would be kind of like a crusher, that patio crusher beer, especially at 4.7% alcohol. Beer like this, IPA, could probably go with anything. I mean, you go with like fish and chips, fish tacos, but I'm getting also on the aftertaste, I get a little bit, that citrus lingers, or that, again, I think it's more like a melon, and that, when I say bubble gum, it's like I get kind of that light bubble gum kind of, like I had on the nose a little bit on the aftertaste, which is good. And that's not it's not like a knock to the beer. That's just something that I observe or perceive off of the hops and the balance between the hops and the malt. But very good. And being a large crowler, I'm not too worried about consuming the old thing. The other two are like 8%, 9%, and I'm going to have to take a nap after I do those videos. Anyway, guys, this is drinking like a typical West Coast IPA to me. Who knows? I didn't look at the website that closely. I'm looking around here like I have paperwork here. I may go back and look to see. Maybe they said that. If they said a session IPA, sometimes breweries don't say whether West Coast American IPA, New England hazy IPA. This is definitely not a hazy, but it does drink like almost like an English, like Old Speckled Hen, Fuller's ESB, things like that. Because there is a, what's one thing I didn't mention? We're talking about a IPA. Bitterness is only about moderate to pronounced. There is enough that would cut through some, oily foods and fatty foods. But very nice. It's not like there's no astringency at all. You get a little bit of that citrus, but again, I'm sometimes even getting like that cantaloupe, melon, maybe even a slight tropical fruit. So sometimes I can't tell. You got cantaloupe, honeydew, stone fruit. Sometimes they kind of linger and like they're almost like mango or tropical fruit. Definitely no pineapple in this, which again is not a knock to the beer. That's just probably what they intended to do. So again, this Broken Board sessionable IPA from Westhampton Beach Brewing Company is today's beer dissection. Let me just take one more sniff and taste, which I usually try to do at the end of the videos. Yeah, it's very nice. It's kind of, again, biscuity, toast, light toast maybe, bread crust, light challah bread, malt profile backbone with a little bit of that. I bet they're using some Pacific Northwest hops. Maybe they're throwing in a little Australian that's giving me that little bit of that slight tropical fruit melon character to it, maybe that bubble gum. But really good, guys. Ratings. Okay, I know some of you guys like me doing the ratings. Overall drinkability, enjoyability. This is very crushable, this beer. I got to give it a good, at least B+, A-. I feel like I'm drinking a lot of like an English ale, in a sense, West Coast IPA. But again, English ales, English bitters. You can watch my What Is style if you're really interested in that I talk about that, are essentially pale ales. And a lot of the brewers use, in the 80s, all the old textbooks of English brewing. So, and our IPAs, our pale ales, are offshoots of English bitters and some cask conditioned ales. Okay, so a little, wormhole I went down there. So overall drinkability, I got to put it at that B+, A- range. I'll compare it to, say, a lot of other English ales I've had. It's probably, I'll stick it right there, right? I'll keep it right around that B+, A- range. Because it is drinking kind of like an English ale or bitter, ordinary, best or strong bitter, if you go by the BJCP Beer Judge Certification Program guidelines. Very nice, guys. So anyway, if you're out in Westhampton Beach, take a look at Westhampton Beach Brewing Company. They have a nice location there, nice brew room. Get this beer fresh, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, guys, last time, and I'll sign off here. Westhampton Beach Brewing Company, Broken Board, sessionable IPA, kind of like a West Coast IPA, very sessionable, good malt backbone, a little citrus, a little pine, things like that. So I would check it out. Anyway, till next beer dissection video or just general beer video, guys, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.